Welcome to another episode of Gems from Friends. This is a podcast about entrepreneurs, creatives, and professionals. My guests will be sharing stories about their journey and what they have learned so far while building their personal brand. You can listen to the episodes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you like to watch, you can see them on YouTube. But it's important to subscribe so that you can get notifications whenever I upload new episodes.
I know how people are, but what happened to she? Or she don't make music anymore? Or I just no longer am active within that system. Like, if you feel comfortable in yourself and you feel at peace, that is all that matters. Songwriting for me is not just words for me. I'm thinking of the visuals, like the impact it's gonna have, where this song is gonna go. But sometimes that's what art is, right? It kind of takes on a life of its own, and it's all about whoever is experiencing the song, they will relate to it in a very personal way.
They stop and ask you, how do you see yourself going forward?
Labels don't do that. They were like, this is what I'm gonna be. And I was just like, but no, though.
You collab with Bruno Mars, Akon, Dark Child. Like, this is big name.
People like Estelle. I literally call her like my industry BFF. Then it was also people like Coco and Breezy. Even like how awesome Beyonce was to me on her tour. Being able to like hang out with Lionel Richie, taking meditation and yoga and stuff like that seriously after spending a lot of time with Machel and Che. We gotta call Scott Gall because I know like he gonna destroy these guitars. And then I was like, we gotta call Nicholas Brancker for bass. Like, da na 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 na. And I was like, oh. I definitely have been very blessed to work with some of the most legendary people in music.
This episode is sponsored by Sagicor Bank. When I first heard about a digital bank, no more standing in lanes or driving to a branch, I thought, yes, finally the future is here. Signing up was like really easy. I downloaded the app, uploaded a profile picture and a utility bill just to confirm my address, and in no time I was onboarded. An online agent greeted me via email and my account was set up and ready to send and receive money. Great service to me is all about the experience, and Sagicor Bank has clearly thought this all the way through and remove as many pain points as possible. Visit sagicor.bank and give it a try. Welcome to another episode of Gems from Friends. This person is an amazing songwriter, performing artist. First album was called Shontelle Layne in 2008. Then the second one was Gravity, was released in 2010. Her singles T-shirt and Impossible achieved major international success. She also written a lot of songs for other artists. Man Down for Rihanna, Roll It Gal for Alison Hinds, Slow Wine for Machel. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Shontelle to the studio. Amazing. Thank you for coming. We finally got it here.
Thank you for having me, Matthew. You know how long, yes, we've been trying to make it happen for a minute, but
you made it in for this is going to be the last episode for this season.
Awesome.
So we ending with a bang. My first memory of you would have been Colors with Natalie. I think that was the first time I saw you on TV. I can't remember how old I was at the time, but I would like to know, like, when did it all begin?
You could pretty much say, like, Colors was definitely the first, I would say, like, official major release that I ever dropped, like, locally, as far as, like, my recorded music. But, I feel like I've been doing it for a long time. I was just kind of like, like the typical, like, you start as an underground artist.
Right.
And I feel like I was like in this like generation of artists from Barbados that we wanted to break out of just only being like put in a box, like being expected to only make soca, only make calypso. And we just were like, we wanted to make rock and like R&B, pop music, dance music, everything. So I kind of was like low-key on the scene for a long time. Like, we'll probably get into like all the different people that were also, kind of a part of that. But Colors was definitely the beginning of me like getting out there and people starting to know like like, who is Shontelle? Like, who's this girl, you
Right.
know? But my aunt, like, a lot of people may or may not know, like, Kim Derrick is my aunt. So I actually, like, it's like I grew up in a music family, you
Right,
know?
right.
So I would have grown up, like, watching her, like, performing. And, like, she had, like, this gig at Sandy Lane, and she would perform every weekend. I used to go watch her. Sometimes she would perform in, like, Shipping and places like that. And I would just always be, like, backstage or, like, on the side, like, just, like, one day I'm gonna do this, one day I'm gonna do this. And I was kind of like always around the industry, like always around, you know, all of my aunt's friends who were like also like big artists in Barbados, producers, songwriters, or whatever. So I was kind of like around it like my whole life.
Right,
But yeah,
right.
Colors, I'm trying to remember like how old I was, bro. Like I think Colors was like, I feel it. Was I still at Harrison? It was maybe like my first year at UE or something like that.
Right. Yeah, you were really young.
So I was little, like 16 or 17 or
and
something
that
like that.
song did extremely well
Yeah.
that year. That won competitions, right?
Yeah. Party Monarch, Road Mark, like all the things, all the big titles that most people would be like vying for, you know. I just was like, what is going on?
Can you like remember the process? Like how did it all came together and like how did
I remember it like it was yesterday. Like working on Colors, it was kind of like a concept that had been in my brain for a long time. But again, I was trying to like figure my way through the music industry of Barbados, like what producers will I end up working with, whatever, you know? And then I just remember telling Sonia Mullins, like, I have this idea for like this like a super song where like it's like gonna make Bajans feel really proud wherever they are. But I want, like, in my mind, I was like, every single person who plays a role on this song gotta be like a big shot. So I was like, the producer gotta be like top dog, like anybody, like all whoever's playing on this song gotta be a legend.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do something like really cool. I was thinking about the whole project as a whole and who these people would actually attract, you know, like, what I mean? So I was
yeah.
just like, yo, we need like a super powerhouse for this.
the Avengers?
Yeah, like that, right? So I just remember Sonia said, I feel like Natalie is already working with Chris Allman a lot. Like, why don't you go in with Chris? So then I had like a meeting with Chris Allman at his studio, and I was like, Chris, you know, this is kind of like the idea I have. And, you know, he was like, I was like, we gotta put bare tuck band on it. Like the drums gotta be like tuck. right?
Right.
And I was like, so if you could just make like a drum beat, like a, you know, like something where it is like Barbadiana doing it, let's start there.
Right.
So then he got to work immediately and he sent me like the drum pattern, right? And it was straight up just tuck, like straight up like a tuck beat. And I was like, this is perfect. Then I was like, no, we can do something real ignorant that I don't think anyone. And at that time I was like really into rock, like big time, like System of a Down was my favorite band. I was like listening to like real like metal and rock and stuff, right? So I was like, imagine like tuck band. But then you got these like electric
That's
like guitars,
crazy.
like, and everybody was looking at me like, what? Because it was like,
Because you know, bringing a whole different world to them now.
yeah. So I remember just saying like, trust me. And I was like, we have to call Scott. We gotta call Scott Gall because I know like he gonna destroy these guitars. And then, yeah, so it literally started as like a tuck beat. Then I called Scott, and then Scott came and like killed it on the guitars.
Right.
And then I was like, you know, we gotta call Nicholas Brancker for bass. Like, it has to be the GOAT.
You really had the Avengers of
Yeah.
music.
I was like, it has to be the GOAT. And then even before Nicholas came in, then I was like, well, you know that it gotta be like Mikey on the drums. Like, it has to be.
Wow.
So then Mikey came in and like played his live drums on top of the tuck that Chris already laid down. And then I remember like the track just coming, you know, like coming together. And I would say, so like by the time Chris, Scott, and Mikey did their thing, we had like the basic track ready to go. And then, so then Chris was like, all right, cool, you could go on right now. So then me and Natalie literally was like, we gotta be in a Bajan, like we gotta just go somewhere Beijing. I can't even remember where we went. I think we literally got in the car and drove to like Folkestone or something like that, and like literally wrote the song on the beach in the car.
Wow.
We literally put like so Chris sent the track, and then me and Natalie went and literally just parked on the beach, open up all the car doors, crank the track, and started. And then I was just like, if you're proud to be a bitch. And then I start singing blue, yellow, blue. I was like, because I want it to be like, like fist pumping, like, In my head, I was like, technically it's a dance record.
Yeah.
But y'all ain't gonna hear that, right?
Yeah.
So then me and Natalie literally sat there. The sun start setting, and so it's beautiful scenery. It's like right there on the West Coast, you know, like we have like the most beautiful sunsets.
For sure.
Because we are writing about Barbados. Like we need to like be in a beautiful area.
So
of Barbados.
even at that young age, you were very aware of how to set the mood and how to get into certain environments to bring that magic alive.
Yeah, because like at first I was like, we should go Oystons, but then I'm like, nah, that's gonna be too loud and busy. That's not really gonna work out.
Because you still gotta write, you still gotta be productive.
And then we did think like maybe we should go like all the way to like Bathsheba or Kahawash or something. And I was like, nah, but like now we can just get the scenery, but that's away from the people. Right. I was like, if we're like in this area like folks, and we're gonna see like markets, like people on the street catching the bus, like everything Barbadiana. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what we did. And we literally wrote that song probably in less than an hour. Just really, because it was just happening and all the lyrics just came together. And then, so Natalie wrote her verse and then I wrote mine. And then I was like, Natalie, you know, you gotta put a chant in this. Like, you got Natalie Burke on this. You got Nat. So yeah, it probably just took us a couple days after we had that together. Then we went into the studio with Chris, actually recorded it. And then after we recorded our vocals, then Nicholas came in and then he come and add in the intro, and I was like, every time you hear that, you know what song is coming. And then the way he plays the bass on this song is what gives it like that drive, like it's just pumping, like it literally sounds like it going down the road. And he actually like captured that, because I was like, now I want you to give it that vibe, like make us feel like we down behind the truck now. I'll be like, it is Kadumat Day now, and we going on the road, and we are so proud to be Bajan. So like all these men was just like, this little girl though, like they all were telling me like we never worked with anyone like this before, who like just know like.
Yeah, you know what you wanted.
Yeah, I knew exactly what I wanted to hear, and they like absolutely got it to a T and like killed it. And I was just like so proud of myself. I was like, look at me being a little baby producer. Like
So when you started to see all the results from it, like how that felt?
It was crazy, because songwriting for me, like how you were just kind of touching on it, you know, it's not just words for me. Like I'm thinking of everything. Like I'm thinking of the visuals, like the impact it's gonna have, where this song is gonna go, like where it's gonna live.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm thinking about all these things when I'm like trying to put a song together. It's not just about, the hottest producer and the whatever. I'm just thinking about the whole picture. So to see like the things actually start happening, this song gets released, and like every Bajan automatically just is like, this is what we needed, like an anthem, like something to like make us want to jump up and feel proud about being Bajan. And we have many songs like that, but I was like, we need a new one.
Yeah.
Like we need a new one and something. And I just knew, I was like, the kids gonna love this. Like blue, yellow. I start hearing like little children singing it in my head. I was like, every primary school, like these children gonna be like running around at school singing. And I was like, and I know I'm gonna get in trouble, because they're gonna be like, the color is not blue. It's ultramarine. And I'm like, but it is a shade of blue, is it not?
Exactly.
So, I'm like, you have to be simple when it comes to like a song if you want it to be memorable. And I'm like, no one in the world is gonna look, if you ask a random person, what are the colors of the Barbados flag? They're not gonna be like gold, ultramarine, and gold.
Exactly.
You know, they're gonna be like yellow and blue.
But you have this way of writing that is like, it's so simple, but yet so effective. And the last thing I heard an anthem like that, I feel like Wiz Khalifa kind of get a page out of your book with the black and yellow.
Probably.
Black and yellow, black and
Yeah.
yellow. And then, but for you now, like, I mean, for that time you brought that out, I think it was beyond its years.
Yeah.
Even as simple as it was. But that is what made it special because it was easy to remember.
Yeah. Even down to I feel like a lot of people still haven't even pieced it together that, like, our area code literally spells BIM on the, like, if you look at.
It does?
You see what I mean? 246 literally.
I did not know that. I did not know that. I love how you come in here and teaching me now. Like.
Yeah. And so I was just like, dude, even down to like the branding, because remember now that is when we came out with beige that year and we had like the 246 shirts. Because I was like, how come we don't do that? Because, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit Americanized to some extent. Like I'm very influenced by that culture because I have so much family over there.
Right.
And I just was there like every summer, like in New York since I was a kid. So I would pick up a lot of like little cultural things that they would do, how they like, their area code is like a big thing, you know, like that's how they identify, like this is my area or whatever, like 304, you know, like 718, 212. So I was just like 246, like that is like something we could use to like market this. Like I was like, I know the younger kids, they get it. They all listen to hip hop, like they'll understand it, and it will be something tangible for them to actually like I can wear this like 246, like yeah. And that I was like, I'm gonna make this become culturally a thing in Barbados where we actually identify ourselves by our area code. Yeah. And it wasn't a thing before, and I was like, yeah, we can do this. So then I remember like Sonia Mullins called the guys at Beige, and we was like, all right, Richard, we want to do this. We can get these shirts. We're going to print all these 246 shirts, and that's what everyone is going to be wearing. And it was so dope to see, like, these shirts, we could not keep them on the, like, as soon as we, like, 246 shirts available, phew, sold out. Sold out. Like, people were, like, loving this concept. And so I was like, yeah, this is what I want to see, like this level of pride where we want to wear it on a shirt, right? You know, like we want to like rock it as fashion. And it was dope to see it, like all the different people wearing their 246 shirts in their own style, like dressing it up their own way. So yeah, all of that was like very strategic, like things that were like really thought through.
That's genius. So how did you get, talking about shirts, how did you get from that to t-shirts, these single?
Well, that's just that was just a little bit of, I don't know, maybe serendipity or something. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So before we answer that, to that was like a really long-winded way of me saying that blew my mind to see everything that I had in my head where colors was concerned actually happened. And then it blew my mind that it basically became like the new anthem. One Road March. I was like, I knew we were gonna win Party Monarch, but I was like, if this win Road March, that's like, wow, you know what I mean? And it did. So that blew my mind. Can you remember who you
were up against that year?
Man, everybody. I feel was up against everybody. Lil Rick,
you against your world,
like all the goats. Me, like everybody. Mikey. I feel like it was everybody, and it was gonna. I think it was close. Like I don't think I could say that we like, you know, like beat everybody by a landslide, because it was a tough competition that year. It was really close.
It was a big year for music.
Yeah, that was like a very exciting year. I remember that. But yeah, so then to segue now from t-shirt to t-shirt, that's so weird because t-shirt is actually the last song that I recorded on my first album. Like, my album was done. And I remember all of a sudden Doug Morris, like we had the final meeting with like Sylvia Rowan, Steve Erskine, like Doug Morris, all the heads of Universal, you know? And it's like this final like strategy meeting for like the rollout of my album. And somebody like sent the demo for t-shirt like that same day. So we're in the middle of the meeting and literally Doug Morris runs downstairs runs into the meeting and interrupts the meeting and is like, yeah, this album can't go out yet. And that's like the scariest thing that an artist, you're like, wait, what? Because you're thinking this is bad, like something happened, like now my project getting shut down. Oh my God. But he was like, you have to record one more song. and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? So yeah, that's what happened. Long story short, fast forward, we had to actually like push my album release back because then I had to go and record that song. Because actually Battle Cry was supposed to be the first single.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, yeah, everything got changed because then once we did that song, that got prioritized. They were like, this is going to be the bop. This is going to be the song that's going to get you on the map. So let's go with this one first. So, yeah, it was just like a weird irony that, yeah, I had like this whole T-shirt thing. You know what I mean? And then I ended up...
What was your condition while writing that song? Were you wearing somebody's T-shirt?
Man, yeah, like, well, kind of. Because it was literally like... That's the thing that girls like, that we do that. You know what I mean? Like, because we love how boys smell, and especially the ones that wear nice colognes and stuff. But anyway, I guess it's a pheromones thing. But even from the time you're very young, that's like something that you like to do, like wear your boyfriend's shirt or whatever. And yeah, so I was just like, yeah, this is what girls do. Like when we miss our boyfriends, we lay around in y'all T-shirt at home and pine and stuff like that. So it was kind of weird because I really thought, I was like, this song real bubblegum though, like cha.
Oh, so you didn't really expecting it to have the effect it did?
I knew it was gonna, like, I knew like kids were gonna like it, and that was the thing in my mind. I was like, okay, all right, I guess we're trying to target like a younger demographic,
right?
Because like the rest of the album, if you listen to it, sounds a little bit more like mature than like that song. But yeah, I think Universal knew what they were doing. I can't even like, they were like, trust me, like this is the one that was gonna make them pay attention. So yeah, like I had to tap into actual real experiences, and I laughed to myself because I was just like, I have literally done this, you know. But then it went beyond, like grown women were really into this song as well, which that blew my mind. And then I started getting stories from people that were like, from like grown women who were like, no, my husband is in the military and he's been deployed for the last 2 years and I literally do that, you know, like, yeah, or yeah, my husband is in the Marines or something, you know, he's an astronaut, or yeah, like even people who've gave like really sad stories about someone who passed away, and that's how they cope, you know, with the person's loss, by like,
I never think about it that way.
Dude, it got
song
deeper.
has become a healing song.
Right, and that was what kind of blew my mind, because even when, as a songwriter or artist, you kind of have an intention for yourself with your music, but sometimes, like, that's what art is, right? It kind of like takes on a life of its own, and it's all about perception, and like, you know, whoever is experiencing the song, they will relate to it in a very personal way, like you said, maybe in a way that you didn't even think about.
Exactly,
because you never had that experience.
They say it through a different lens.
Yeah, so that blew my mind, and I think it's because of that it wasn't just like the younger kids that like made it, you know, like even adult women were like, no, this is like, I really do this, and thank you for this song. So that, like, it changed even my perception of because even I thought it was like too bubblegum at first, but I was like, no, like,
as you said, it took a life of its own. I'm just really curious still though, like what happened in between Colors and that particular era. So yeah, what happened? How you got signed?
That was that was so wild, man. I literally just told this story the other day. I tell this story a lot because a lot of people do ask me. But so because Colors did its thing that year, this was also my first time that I got invited to like be a part of like Labor Day, because you know that's come right after Crop Over. And whoever like dominates Crop Over basically gets to go over to like, you know, all the other carnivals, and I'm pretty much, Labor Day is like the first one. So me and Natalie were in New York because we was gonna be on the Barbados truck, like representing blue, yellow, blue. So we're in New York doing our thing. Shout out to Ryan Butcher too, because Ryan is like the first person that gave like the very first show that I ever did in New York was because like it was Ryan that brought us out there to do all the color stuff and be on the truck and everything. And I remember like it was literally the day before I was gonna go back to Barbados. And my phone was ringing. My cell phone started ringing, but I almost didn't answer it because I don't answer unknown numbers. I'm like, just leave a message. I'll get back to you. But because it was a New York number, I was like, this is weird because this is my Barbados phone.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a New York phone at the time. And I'm like, why is like 212 calling me? Who, like, and the only reason I answered it is because I was like, maybe there's someone in my family that like has my number, but I just don't have like their number saved or something. Yeah. But then it was it was Evan Rogers. And he was like, hey, is this Shontelle? I'm like, hi, who is this American person calling me? And then he runs down the whole story of who he is, why he's looking for me. And the long story short of that is that, you know, they had just recently signed Ree. She was working on Music of the Sun. They were looking for writers. They heard Roll.
Right. Okay.
Thought it was crazy, loved the song, and they were like, this song is in that same world of this vibe of what we're trying to create. So literally, that was why I was called it. And Evan literally said, I've been looking for you for a while. And then my wife and I were in Barbados, and I saw you on a magazine. Shout out to Circuit Magazine. That was Circuit Magazine from back in the day. And apparently I was on the cover of that issue, and they saw it in the gas station with literally with the 246.
I remember that, yeah.
And then they saw, like, I guess it had like a thing on the side. It mentioned like that I wrote Roll as well or whatever. So they grabbed the magazine, and it was like, all right, we got to call the magazine to get in contact with her. So it was actually the guys at Circuit that gave them my number, and that is how they found me.
Wow.
So then, because I was leaving the next day, Evan was like, he was like, so when's the next time you're going to be in New York? I was like, dude, I'm literally there right now. Like, I'm in New York. I'm here. He was like, what?
Oh, wow.
This is crazy. And then he goes, well, you know, how long are you staying? Like, let's link up in the next couple of days. I was like, dude, my flight is tomorrow. So then he's like, okay, no, we have to figure this out. Do you know where Bronxville is? I'm like, all right, this is definitely a scam phone call. Because I'm like, what's Bronxville? I did not know. Like, all I know is the Bronx. I never heard of it. So I was like, man, this is a lie. Like, there's some weird dude that got my number that trying to, like... So I start getting weirded out. So I call my aunt who lived in the Bronx at the time. And I was like, Auntie Myrtle, Bronxville real? And she started laughing.
Is it a real place?
She's like, yeah, it's literally right next to the Bronx, but it's like the burbs.
Right.
Right. So she was like, yeah, it's right there. And I told her the whole story. I was like, these men telling me about come and meet them at the studio. And I'm like, but I'm a girl. I'm by myself. Like, I'm not. So she goes, you know what? This could be, like, God works in mysterious ways, and this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. I don't want you to, like, fumble this, you know? So she literally said, get on the train, meet me now in the Bronx. Meet me at the house. So I literally go, I meet my aunt, and then she took me to the studio. And then they were real.
Right.
And it kind of led from, like, a conversation into, like an impromptu audition, because they started asking me about songwriting and all that, and if I would be down to, like, help out with the project. I was like, yeah, sure. But then they asked me if I had any other demos, like if I had any, and I just so happened I used to walk around with a CD of, like, demos that again, like I told you, I used to, like, be recording in my bedroom, like, you know, on my computer, like, just trying to make music on my own. And I started playing some stuff for them, and they were like, okay, cool, but so you're writing these songs, but who's singing? Who's the person singing the demos? And I was like, me. And then they go, that's your voice? And I'm like, yeah. Because the only thing they would have heard from me was colors.
Colours,
So they're not thinking like, oh, this girl could like sing like that. And then I'm like, it's me. And then they didn't believe me. So they were like, let's go and get the guitar. And then all of a sudden they like put me on the spot and I'm having to perform live for them. And then they just look at each other and they're like, yeah, this one here. This one here could work, yeah. And then they just both looked at me and they were like, so you want to be an artist? I was like, I mean, it's only my dream. You know? And so, yeah. And then they were like, so how would you feel if we attempted to do something similar with you where we like bring you back to New York and we'll work on a demo with you. We'll be our production company. And then we'll pitch you to the labels to get signed. So, like, that's what, you know, they kept their promise. That's what they did. And so I went back, literally flew back to Barbados the next day. And then, like, in a couple months, I was, like, back up to New York. Took us another couple months to do all the demos. And then they just immediately started taking meetings, like, label meetings. And that was kind of wild. I, like, went to every single label, like, pick a label, Atlantic, like Columbia, Sony, Warner, you know, all the different labels under Universal, Atlantic, like every label. And most of the meetings were good, but like none of them were really like, I think it was only like Craig Kalman at Atlantic that was like ready to sign me,
okay.
like up, like before I even got to Steve Rifkin. So like went to Craig Kalman, but his idea of me was like, I was like, man, you're probably like, because Atlantic was starting to kill it at the time. And I was like, man, this is a hard label, you know? But he was like, oh, you're the female Sean Paul. So I was just like,
Yeah, but you weren't dancehall.
At that time I had like other stuff in my demo that was very islandy, like in that kind of, and they were like, this girl could chant and everything, boy. Like, so for them, they were like, they were looking at Sean Paul as like this blueprint of like the Caribbean, like the authentic Caribbean artist that crosses into like pop and mainstream.
Yeah. So it was Caribbean pop.
Yeah. So right. So in their mind, they were like, this is what I'm gonna be. And I was just like, but no, though. I actually really want to make like ballads and stuff too. I want to make like the same music that like Beyonce makes, you know. I want to I want to be able to do that. And I guess for me, I just felt like their vision of what they thought they wanted to like make me into as an artist was not really like, I was just like, that's not, I feel like if we start off on this, it's going to go down.
Right.
It's not going to work
But
out.
have they stop and ask you how do you see yourself going forward?
Labels don't do that.
Right.
They literally look at you, then they listen to your sound, and then sometimes in their mind they're like, even though this is what you came to us with, we do see the star in you, but we think that this is the method that we should use for you to break. Because all they're thinking about is business.
Right.
They're not really thinking of like, I'm helping create or build an art. Like they're like, we need something that makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
This is what we think is going to work. Because they also they go based on a lot of data. They collect a tremendous amount of data that almost informs them like what direction to go on, what's working right now and what's going to work and whatever. Sometimes, you know, everything kind of hits a ceiling. So even when they're working with their algorithms, it reaches a point where that stops working and there's a new meta now. So, but for me, I just knew, I was like, I do not want to start off like this. Because then Megan got me in here, like, basically trying to turn me into Spice or something. You know, or I would have been probably more like Shensia or something, which is cool, but I would have felt unfulfilled as an artist. But
it's not like, you.
Yeah, it's just not me.
Your identity.
Yeah. And so then after that, I took, then I had the Steve Rifkin meeting. And that meeting kind of went like, yeah, we signing you like right now, fam. Like, don't even leave this building. It's a wrap. And then it was, I kind of did something a little bit naughty because I didn't it wasn't one of those things where it's like you can't leave until the contract is physically here and then you have to sign it. But it was like a handshake, like, all right, we doing this. And it was kind of like agreed upon. But then Jimmy Iovine heard about me from somebody and he was like, nah, I need to meet this girl. So then he flies me to LA, like literally. I go to Interscope and I meet with Jimmy Iovine and he was like ready. He was the same thing. He was like, oh, we definitely gonna sign you. Like, this is like dope. And at the time, like Rock City and all them was there. He was like, yeah, like, oh, y'all gonna work together, blah, blah, blah. You would Akon, blah, 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 all this stuff. But then, what I am told is that then, like, Jimmy called Steve and was like, I'm just letting you know I met this girl and I know that you met with her already and I know that you want to sign her and we're friends. So I don't want to step on our friendship. Like, if you really want her that bad, I will fall back. But if you do jump and lag, she's mine. You know what I mean? It kind of went like that. And then Steve was like, nah, please. Like, I really, like, I'm really serious about this. So then I went back to New York. And then I had another meeting with Steve. And then that was when he was like, nah, like, this is really, really official. By tomorrow, we'll be signing the contracts. And that's exactly how it went. So that's how I ended up signing to SRC/Universal Records. I was signed to Steve Rifkin Street Records Corporation.
Okay.
That used to be Loud Records. Yeah. So that's how that went. But I did meet with everyone.
But for you, all of this happening, what was going through your head? You were at any time like pinching yourself and it's like, is this for real? Like,
you know what's weird? I feel like if I pinch myself more now,
really? Okay.
that it actually happened.
Right.
Because back then you don't have time. Like when you're in it,
You just
literally
going.
Yeah, like you can't even process anything. You're just like going. You're in it. You know. I don't even think I had time to like understand like what was even going on. Like, yeah, I couldn't even process it, honestly.
Because you did some amazing things. I mean, like you collab with Bruno Mars, Akon. You did work with Dark Child. Like these is big names.
Yeah. Man, that's like a short list too, because I could go on like Rock Wilder, like you just name it, man. Like everybody, Tricky and Dream.
Right.
Like I definitely have been very blessed to work with some of the most legendary people in music. Yeah, like, dude, you got me. Like, even when I don't even like to think about it, cause it's too much. Sometimes it's too much. It's like whoa, it's so emotional.
And a lot of this was the writing.
Yeah, but I also like Rodney Jerkins did like 3 songs on my second album on No Gravity, and Bruno's I think Bruno was from the first album, because that was DJ Made Me Do It. But I definitely
what happened in between the time when you were like,
even like
swapping labels? What was happening then?
You mean when I went from SRC Universal over to Republic? Yeah. So that was an interesting point in the industry, because that was when everything was transitioning from more like terrestrial and like physical sales, like terrestrial radio and physical sales. Everything was going into like streaming.
Right.
And that's when like the labels started feeling like they're losing a lot of money. They started like firing everyone. Like we called it like literally like the industry bloodbath.
Right.
You would show up to the label one day and like your whole team is gone.
Wow.
Like there's nobody to work your project.
So then what happens to the project?
They were just firing all the executives and then putting people, like shelving people's projects, putting them on hold, dropping mad artists, like basically cleaning house, like letting go, like dropping tons of artists. And I just remember like when we were all faced with that, and they were like, you know, because I left out, this is how crazy record deals can look. Because my deal was like this. SRP, SRC, Motown, Universal.
Wow. That's a lot of
So
names.
every single one of them groups, right, gotta get a piece of money before it get to me, you know. Like
Right.
that's how crazy record deals are. All these
Right.
people's hand is in your bag. So I remember the reason why all this was happening was because Motown decided to fold. Basically, they wanted to like end as a fully functioning label and become more of like a boutique label that really only just focuses on like their catalog, their back catalog, and you know, like doing special like projects, you know, like when you see like Stevie Wonder 50th anniversary special
okay.
yeah, things like that. So they were like, we don't really want to be like signing new acts and whatever. We just managing this like Motown back catalog.
Got it.
So because Motown was folding and we were under Motown, they were like, well, is either we gotta drop all these Motown artists or they gotta go somewhere else. Luckily, the whole internal Universal system had to look at all the artists that were most valuable to them and determine who they thought they should keep versus who they wanted to let go. And Akon and I got lucky because we were both signed to Steve Rifkin's, the same label. And they were like, no, we don't want to drop y'all. So what we're going to do is like move you through the family over to Republic, which is still a Universal label and in the same building. But yeah, so that was kind of what led to that, you know, it wasn't something that was a choice of mine where I was like, oh, I want to change labels. I want to move from Motown to Republic. I didn't really have a choice. So then I was going from Steve Rifkin to Lucian Grange
Right.
as the boss, you know. So yeah, that was how that was what kind of caused that switch.
Okay, so we know that there's a lot of roller coaster going on in the music industry.
Yeah.
How have that affected your creativity in that moment?
It's so hard. It's so hard to be creative when you're down, you know, like because like going through things like that could be very daunting where you're like your life is literally in someone else's hands and you don't know what decision they're going to make, and then you're also watching your friends and like other peers, people that you're grown close to, like they got the bad end of the stick or they got dropped or they, you know, it's like a lot of sadness all around you, like producers getting screwed with their deals, like just bad things happening. And it just like makes you like, it takes you to like a dark place, and then you start worrying, like just because you know you don't have any control over what happens to you, you actually have like so much anxiety. So is either you opt to just create from a dark place and everything that you make is gonna be that, or you literally just feel like stuck, like you don't even feel like you don't even want to get out of bed because everything just feels so depressing. So that was what that moment in time, I feel like a lot of artists went through that, like when we start because you start to grow to love the people that you work with too, like they become like your family because they're like grinding for you, like so you can win. And then you just show up one day and they're like all fired, you know.
Wow.
They're going through it, they got bills to pay, they have kids. It was just like a really sad time. So I remember just feeling like, thank God I'm kind of like technically in between, like like I'm still touring on an album right now. Like I
Right.
wasn't like having to work on a new project during that time. But I just remember like for me, even when like producers would call me for writing sessions or camps and stuff, I just feel I don't even feel like I was delivering my best during that time because I was so down. It was just hard.
So you were saying like you will go to the label or go back to work and you realize that people are gone.
Yeah. Like
Right.
whole department's gone.
Did you had like anyone from like Barbados home that was with you at this time, or you felt like all alone in this?
I did have Sonia with me, Sonia Mullins.
Okay.
Yeah, like Sonia would have been on the road with me, like even like when I was on all the way through to like the Beyonce tour. But that, you still feel alone because then it's just the two of you, and it just feels like when you're not, like if you look at it, you see how we have like a little community of creatives here in Barbados.
Yeah.
And when we tell each other's stories, we all can be like, I remember when it was me and J. Cole, me and Tef, me and Puffy, like we all intertwine,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we all go way back, and we have this kind of like this like thing, like a little web, you know, like a little net, this like little safety net that we all kind of is interwoven between us. So when you get extracted from this now, you go over there, none of the artists are, you have that with like this thing where you go way back, you feel like you don't have any friends,
Right.
like there's no one that you're close to that went through it before, that can guide you and talk to you, and that you can help you understand why you're feeling this way or what to do, how to handle this situation and that situation. You're just literally trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
you know, all on your own. And it just, yeah, it does make it like very difficult. And if you don't have a manager who's like all deep in the culture over there, it's very hard for you to maneuver within it, you know, to be at all the parties and like start making friends and all that. And then I was just like always a very to myself, like when I'm done performing, I just want to go back to my room. Everybody else want to go to the club, go to parties and stuff like that. So I wasn't really like that. I just always kind of really wanted to chill.
No industry parties?
No, definitely not no white parties. I have done a few industry parties, but not the ones that I know you talking about. Not them.
No, I talking about like after the show, you know, you're touring and you go to the club after a show.
Those ones you almost don't have a choice. Like when you're in town and you're touring, you have to make the rounds. You gotta make the appearances, do the like. Sometimes you might be touring with another artist and the official after party is at whatever club, and you know you got to do the PR thing. You have to do it. Or sometimes you might actually be doing a performance after, like in the club or whatever. So yeah, I would do it, but mostly like if I'm working, like if it's in a work capacity. But I just used to want to go back to my room and relax. Yeah, like real boring.
So an artist that is on the come up, will you think that what should they prepare for if they're trying to break the international market? Prepare for stress. Data has shown that over 60% of you watching these videos are not subscribed yet. It would be a great support to me and the channel if you can just click that subscribe button and hit your notification bell. That way, you'll be notified whenever I drop a new episode.
I like low-key want to say, before you even start your journey, just get you a life coach and a shaman, like one time. Like, get the Bible. Like one time, because what you're going to go through is going to challenge you like probably nothing that you've experienced in your life. But I would say, I guess it kind of can be different based on like if you're trying to go through it like independently, or if you intend to go through like the major system. That's gonna have like an effect on the type of experience that you have. But for the most part, no matter which path you choose, you're still gonna have to deal with like a lot of the same things. And I would say like the hardest thing to do is not lose yourself, not just creatively, but a lot of people find themselves like you're trying to stay relevant, or you want to be hot, or you want to be in the cool club or whatever. And a lot of times, you know, it is very easy to find yourself out of character so that you can maintain relevance, or so you can stay in the limelight or whatever. And a lot of people end up kind of like losing themselves in that regard, you know. And then yeah, like I feel like I maybe came close to that a few times, where you found yourself like you're like, I don't even want to be here, bro. Like I don't even like this, like this is so dumb, like why am I doing this, you know? So yeah, that's something that like just know that there's gonna be a lot of work that you're gonna have to put in, like when it comes to like maintaining your mental, you know, like it's probably gonna make you a little crazy.
So it's almost not even about the music anymore.
Yeah, because I know like the cliche response to this is like, don't let anyone change who you are as an artist. Like, put your foot down because it's your authenticity in at the end. As long as you don't give up, your authenticity is what ultimately should like give you that moment eventually, right? Like, it comes for some artists way earlier than others. Some people are more like Lionel Richie, where they didn't become a big star till they were like 40 something, you know?
Right.
So everyone's path is different, but you know, so everyone always says like, yeah, like whatever your style of music is, like don't let nobody like change that. Or you always hear the typical, you know, if you're a female, don't let them like slutify you if that's not you. All that is true, but I would say like be prepared to like be ready to put in that work, like mentally and psychologically. Like, it's going to like really like mess with your head in so many different ways, and it's going to take a lot of strength. And like you said, like it's going to be very important for you to have people around you that can help you like process what is even going on in your head. So even if it's not someone who's been there before, that like a guide, then you might go sit on somebody couch and talk this out, you know what I mean? Or hopefully you're really close to your mom, or you know, like someone that you can talk to though, like to help keep your mind together, because it's gonna get tough.
Do you think you had to sacrifice certain things about your personal life for your career?
Absolutely, because even like you know, we mentioned a little earlier, I just came back. I was in Southeast Asia for like almost like 9 months. That's 9 months away from home, 9 months away from my bed, 9 months away from my dogs, my family, my friends, my loved ones, like 9 months away from everything familiar, because it's not like I was like in New York for 9 months or Miami.
Right.
I'm like, what are y'all even saying? Like, their language is completely different. The culture is completely different. And even though I enjoy like being on the road so much and doing what I do, it's like the air that I breathe to do this. I love it. But yeah, sometimes there's a lot of sacrifices. You're gonna be torn away from, you know, your closest people for like long periods of time. It's gonna be very exhausting when you're on the road. You know, you might not always be able to get the food that you want.
Right.
Like little things that sound like petty and small,
That's your fact.
but but they add up, especially when you're dealing with it over a long period of time. And just like not having a familiar, like, thank God, like we got FaceTime and all that now, and Zoom, and we like at least you could see people's faces still and talk to people face to face. But yeah, it's definitely like a lot to sacrifice. Like, so during that 9 months, I didn't get to celebrate I was away during my birthday, Christmas, New Year's.
So like, you don't get to do like the normal things. Like,
so whereas everyone else is home with the family, like doing all the things, I'm like alone for my birthday, alone for Christmas, alone for New Year's. And I don't want to say like alone in a sense that there weren't people around me, because I was very blessed that, you know, the people who were like responsible for me while I was over there became like ultimately like family to me, and I love them so much. And they like took the best care of me and made sure that I wasn't like by myself all the time, and they invited me to you know, all the things with their families, and you know, like threw me like a big birthday party while I was over there, and it was cool. And luckily, one of my best friends, she was able to fly in from Dubai and be there like for my birthday. But yeah, it's still like not the same as like being home and having your everybody. Yeah. So those are just like some of the things. Yeah, you're away from everyone, so you get really like homesick. And then there's like time passing, like even simple things. Like I start to get scared. I'm looking at my life. I'm like, girl, like you ain't got no kids yet. Time is ticking, you know what I mean? And so yeah, when you have this type of career, like sometimes it can be like you're like making a choice between like trying to like go after something. And it's not just music, it's like women trying to be professional. This can happen to a lot of us, you know? So I'm just like, man, you've spent all these years like doing, you know, like chasing after this dream and like running and living on the road and whatever, and it's not really like giving you that time to like form like relationships on that level where it might even like lead to that, like you starting a family and things like that.
Have you ever had to battle with, like, you have a gift, you know, you have a gift, but does it ever feel like a curse?
Yes. There are ways that it feels like a curse, because if it's your gift, it's probably also your obsession, which means it has a psychological hold on you, right? It's this little thing that's grabbing your brain, and you cannot run away from it. You cannot escape it. You have to face and deal with it. And so for me, like, being very talented at something means that a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of sharks.
Right.
Because you're like chum in the water, you know, in the ocean. Like, you are like, it's feeding time. And if your head not screwed on correctly, you could fall into the traps very, very, very easily. Like, a lot of people are trying to get you for sometimes not good reasons at all. So you kind of have to have like a lot of like the power of discernment. Like, you got that locked down, because you might find yourself saying yes to things that you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, how could I not see this? So a lot of people will try to take advantage of you as well. And then sometimes you start to feel like, does anyone actually just like care about me? Like, just love me? Because literally everyone only calls me when they like need something or want something. It starts to become that, like, yeah, like the only time your phone rings is like because someone requires your talent at the time or whatever. You start to feel like just like a commodity and not a human being anymore. And it gets really, and it also, even sometimes to people that are close to you, like, they don't recognize what they're doing. Like, so now, like, if you're known as like the singer in your group of friends, every time that you go out, they're gonna try to make you sing. It's like weird, like this weird thing. But and then you start feeling like,
but what do you mean when you go out, they can make you sing, like,
bro,
what, happy
like,
birthdays?
like, nah, like, I would just be out at dinner, like at a party, and then eventually at some point someone is gonna be like, sing for us, and it feels weird because you're like, I'm not a jester or like a clown or whatever. Or sometimes you're just like, but I'm not in performance mode right now. like we at dinner, like, we just chilling, or we just like trying to exist as a family, or I don't want to entertain anyone right now. Like, I'm not on the job right now. It becomes like this weird thing where, and then there's also like expectations. Like, people expect you to be perfect all the time, and like look a certain way all the time, and like always be like in this mode. And we were talking, like, laughing about it, where I was like, shh, but Matthew, I want to be like you. I just want to be in my hoodie right now. Like, I don't even want wearing no makeup. Like, I just want to breathe, like, and chill. But you have to always be on. And like, so yeah. But
do you think it's changing now, though?
Yeah. But at the same time, like, don't get me wrong, because it's actually still a very cool thing. On the flip side of it, it's very cool to like have like something that's rare that like a lot of people maybe can't do, and that is special. That is like, you do have to acknowledge it is a gift, and you have to be grateful for it and like use it to the best of your ability. You know, like God said, like, do not like forsake your talents. Like, if I give you a talent, you're supposed to use it.
Multiply it.
Yeah, and multiply it. And for me, multiply it does not mean use my talent to get money and get rich. It's like
to serve others.
It's to serve others. Like, how many other people can you take this special thing that you have and like impact their lives in a positive way? So like I you know, that's kind of like the gas that I go on. And I do feel like, you asked me if it's changing. I don't know if it will ever change. I feel like I just have to accept certain things are par for the course. Like, you know, you have to accept, like, if you are a public figure or whatever, like whatever level of fame you're on, like if you're a public figure, like somebody gonna want a picture,
Yeah.
somebody gonna want to talk to you, they're gonna want an autograph, they're gonna request your presence for something, and you may not feel like it, but everyone feels like that about every job that they have.
Yeah.
Like if you work in an office, you ain't feel like going to work every day.
Right.
If you just work at Massey, like you ain't really want to be behind that cash register every day.
Yeah.
But we get up and we do it. You know, it's par for the course. Existence itself means that like you have to do things that you don't want to do all the time. But
What are some of the things that you would practice so that you don't turn your passion into punishment?
I try to be very intentional. I try to not just have myself just all over the place, and I try to think about the reason why I'm saying yes.
Right.
So it is very easy to say yes for a bag. But a lot
not
of
all
times
bags are good.
a lot of times, you know, that's coming with a lot of other
Yep.
crazy
Yep.
stuff that you don't even want to deal with. So
Some bags will actually cost you more bags.
in the long run, you know, so for me, I feel like that's where that's where I'm at with it. I just try to do good with what I got and just be accepting that there are things that I'm gonna have to deal with that will be very challenging, but I think I'm getting better at it as I get
So it's constant
older.
growth.
Yeah.
Constant growth.
Yeah. I think it's more like me trying, like how I deal with it is just trying to be aware
Right.
and like don't, like when I was younger, like you asked me like if I, you know, if it was like how I was even processing it, it's like you can't because everything's going so fast. I couldn't like think about anything. So now I have the ability to process all of these things that have happened, how it's connected to everything that's happening now. And you get better at like seeing full pictures rather than like living your life in like these little compartment, like eras. And I feel like slowing down is probably a good thing that I did. Like that was a good technique for me. And also like really like taking care of yourself, man. Like starting to realize like your body is your temple, like trying to get rid of some bad habits like that you pick up in the industry. You're always out at an event, which means you're drinking all the time, you know, like probably smoking, like all these like really bad habits. And I started saying like, you know what, I need to like do better. I need to drink more water. I need to figure out how to actually sleep. I need to like allow my mind to work, you know. I need to like maybe start meditating and working out again, like get back in the gym, like think about what you're eating, like eat better, just try to like be better overall. And I just found in like just taking those little steps, it helps you be able to like establish where you're actually standing relatively speaking, like, you know, in terms of like your past, present, and future. You have a better grasp of that. And then the older you get, you start realizing like where you actually are like, I know where I want to go. And because you've learned so much now, you know what steps you need to put in place to actually get there. But yeah, I can't say there was like any one specific thing that I did to like manage or whatever. But yeah, what I will say is that me starting to take the time to meditate and getting into yoga and things like that was more helpful than I even imagined that it could be. So yeah, I still have like all that is still a part of my lifestyle. And yeah, I think I'm a different person now than I was then. So I definitely deal with things. I don't know if it's better, but it's definitely different.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Were there
And I'm
anyone...
definitely not angry all the time anymore.
You used to be angry all the time?
All the time. Like, I was like mad at everyone and everything in the whole world, like all the time. But yeah.
Wait.
Because I'm an empath. Right. You know, and like we feel everything. If I see somebody get unfair, I'm gonna be vexed. And I want to fight the whole world because if everyone else don't come and defend them, I'm like, how could you not?
Right.
And then I'm like, what's wrong with us? And I get real dramatic about any little thing. Like, so I'm very empathetic.
What has happened when you go on social media?
I can't. That's why notice I do not post a lot.
Right.
And it makes no sense because if you're trying to be a poppin' artist, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah. Or
But
have a team to at
but
least do
literally
it, yeah.
being on social media is actual hell for me. Like, I literally can't manage. Like, sometimes I'm like, the news, like what people would rather talk about, what people are giving attention to versus what in my mind they should be. It like becomes this like sickening place of like everything is fake. Like this place, that whole like, why would you want to exist there?
Right.
It's not real. It's weird. And even places like Twitter used to be like fun where everyone could just go on and like give your opinion about. No, everything has become like like a battlefield, like this war zone. Like everyone goes to fight, to intentionally like shake the table, to cause drama.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, I love peace. I just literally, if I could, I would snap my fingers and be living by a river right now, by a mountain with like nothing but just animals and nature
Right,
around.
yeah.
I love peace. I hate fighting. Maybe it's because I'm a Libra too. Like we're the scales. Like we like everything balanced. We about love. We about that type of thing. And that is, social media is the antithesis of that. It's the complete opposite. It's the death of everything like light and positive and good. So it's very
I think it's who you follow.
difficult. No, because I do follow like all that stuff, like good
Okay,
stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, you're still gonna like want to follow like, if you're in entertainment, you're like, I need to follow the entertainment news. I need to know
Right,
what's
yeah,
going,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't. I need to know if you function in any business, any whatever it is you do. You need to know if you're in medicine. You gotta know what's
It's
going
true.
on
It's
in
true.
medicine. You
Yeah.
know, like, so, like you can't just like be in a bubble.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, there's certain things, platforms and whatever that I do follow because I need to like keep up with what's going on or whatever the case may be. And then if you follow any of the news platforms, everything's still going to reach you. And then things like Twitter, you don't even have to be following people. You could just say something and then you'll just get attacked by a swarm of like random trolls that you're like,
Yeah.
where did you come from on my timeline? Like,
Yeah.
I don't follow any of these people. So even if you block out what comes across your timeline, you can't really control what lands in your comment section
True.
unless you are straight up one of those people that limit your comments or turn them off.
I'll turn them off. Yeah.
And then if you always have them off,
Then
it's not really
social
helping
media.
you either. Because one, you can't also engage with whoever is supporting you, but you kind of want a little bit of the truth. Like, you don't want to be an artist and like literally like, it's great if you have a positive fan base, but you want them to be real with you too. Like, I ain't like this or
Right.
that, you know, like you
So not
want to
just
get
yes
the
people.
yeah, because you know the difference between a troll and like a genuinely concerned fan, like someone who loves you and they like feel like I'm actually trying to tell you like we don't like this or whatever. You want the truth a little bit, even if it hurts.
Yeah.
Because it's about helping you be a better person, better at your craft, better understand what your fans appreciate the most about you, so you can give them more of that and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, social media in general for me is like a difficult place to exist. So I tend to like do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two things I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
on this topic. Is there anyone in the industry, or were there anyone in the industry that were like a light to you in any way through any of the dark times?
Yeah.
Are there anyone that kind of like put you down the path and say, okay, you should practice this, you should do yoga, you meditate, pray more? Were there any of that?
I would say, to be honest with you, the person who put me on that path of, I really went on the path of like taking meditation and yoga and stuff like that seriously after spending a lot of time with Machel and Che.
Okay.
Like they
yeah.
will have that influence on you if you spend a lot of time around them. So that, honestly, that is like, I used to do it before, but by actually having conversations with them about their journey and like how it is affecting them and how it's helpful, then and actually getting to spend a lot of time and be close to them and actually like do it with them and practice with them and stuff, that's when it really started to sink in. Like,
Right.
this is actually so amazing and really good. And then when you could actually see the good that it's having, the positive effects that it's having on these people that you're looking up to, is like, well, I could see
Right.
that, yeah, this working for you. So let me try it. I should really try it too. And, you know, but there's other people in the industry from even before that I would say, like, really, like, either had my back or held my hand. So there's, like, people like Estelle. Like, Estelle is, like, probably, like, one of my, like, I literally call her, like, my industry BFF. Even though we don't talk a lot or every day, you know. But, like, from the beginning, I think Estelle was, like, probably the first, and this is when she was, like, huge, like, with, like, American Boy is Out. And I remember when Impossible started to blow up, she was probably, like, if not the only, like, the first, like, other big artist that actually hit me on Twitter and, like, reposted the song and was like, congratulations, you got one, like, well done. And I was like, bro, I did not even know Estelle was even following me, dog.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
that's how, even from back then, I used to be, like, weird about social media, you know. So I didn't know, like, all these, like, huge, did not know Snoop Dogg, Timbaland, like, all these people following me, you know. But then Estelle was, like, the one who was, like, vocal and telling everybody, like, yeah, big up Shontelle, whatever. And she's helped me, like, with so many other things throughout my career. And anytime she knew she would be in New York, she would hit me up and we would link up. And she used to be, like, inviting me to hang out with her and, like, Natasha Bedingfield and, like, other, like, really big artists that were, like, way out of my league. But she was like, nah, come and hang with us, you know? So I'd be, like, chilling with Estelle. And then there's, like, Kanye. It was, like, really crazy, you know? So somewhat, like, it is, like, to have someone actually, I don't know if it's like, because we never even had a conversation about it. I feel like Estelle just gets it. She's like, my family is from the Caribbean. Like, I understand, like, your whole path, your whole trajectory.
Right,
Like,
right.
if I was you, I would need people. And she's just a sweet person like that, where she's like, I'm going to look out for my sisters. She probably could have seen from up there, like, I know you need people. Come over here with us. You could sit at the table. And that was cool. Then it was also people like Coco and Breezy, you know. And then, like, even, like, how awesome Beyonce was to me on her tour. Like, not just letting me tour with her, but taking the time to actually have those conversations and give you, like, the encouragement. People like Queen Latifah, you know, that I would have been doing shows where she's, like, the MC and she, like, goes out of her way to come to my room after I finish perform to tell me, like, yo, like, sis, you really killed that and I'm, like, a fan of you now. Just little things like that, you know. Like, I remember another crazy story is that same thing I was telling you about when I got flown out by Jimmy Iovine, and then Snoop Dogg, like, invites me to his listening party. And then I'm just, like, literally hanging out with Snoop Dogg for, like, you know, hours, like, at his party. And he, like, is like, yeah, come and be in my area. Just those, like, little things like that, you know.
Yeah.
People, yeah. And then, like, me and Rock Wilder, the producer, like, he's like my big brother, you know. He would always, like, just anything I needed, like, any help, any whatever, connections, whatever, like, he would always be there. And he would always be there just to, like, talk. Like, just to, like, talk. Like, he will always be, like, praying for you because he's, like, very, I just call it Jesus-y.
Jesus.
Yeah, he real Jesus-y. So, yeah, he would just, like, literally call. And if you say you don't, he can just pull up, you know, and be like, come, like, I can hug you and we can pray. And so just, like, you know, having people like that definitely was helpful. And there's, like, so many other people that have done really awesome things like that throughout my career. Like, even just, like, Akon being a big brother to me. Like, we were signed to the same label and he would, like, literally drag me on the road, like, everywhere with him. Like, come, little sis, you gotta learn, or we can put you in front of these people. We can make sure that people know what time it is. They gonna know about you. Just those simple little things. Like, people being good to you when it's not gonna translate back into $1 for them.
Right. When
Just
it's
being genuine, yeah.
I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about the touring with Beyonce, because you opened for Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
Right. How was that experience for you?
Crazy. Like, absolute insanity. Like, Because first of all, a Beyonce tour is not no normal tour. The schedule is gonna be mad. It's gonna be like so many tours, so many dates. Some cities are sold out. She has to like do like 3 nights in one city because like
Wow.
the venue sells out, you know, like so you're like there's not much break, but then also getting to observe there you tour with Beyonce, you know why she's Beyonce. Because I can tell you, even leading up to that point, I had seen situations where you'd be on a show with other like with really big artists, and sometimes they don't even do their own sound check. They're not showing up till like 5 minutes before they gotta touch the
Before
stage.
show, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not Beyonce. Beyonce is like doing all the sound checks. Beyonce is gonna run the rehearsal twice the same day as the like if the first run was not good, run it again.
Right.
Like, and she ain't making the dancers do it and the band, and she and the cut chilling every step, like she's like, we gotta do this again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, your show is like 2.5, 3 hours long. Like, so she'll like wake up in the morning and be rehearsing a whole day, sometimes the full show more than once, and then go run that same full show the night, and then she'll leave, do the club appearance thing or whatever, or the walkthrough, and then maybe wake up the next morning, have to do like whatever morning radio show, or like, I'm just like, you cannot be human, dude.
It's not normal.
This is not normal. Like, how are you doing this? Like, and you're dancing and doing like so much, and then still have the time to like talk to people and not be like that weird. Because I've also been on other artist tours where like they don't even talk to like the supporting acts. No one else. Like they're like whatever. You just hit a kill time so my people could fill these seats for when I come out. But not her, man. Like they really were like, now we all eat as a family. Like I remember her mom was like even cooking for us. She even like made Short Man, my DJ, made him a birthday cake. You know, it was just like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, like a really cool tour
So
experience.
she was very involved.
Yes, where you really felt like part of the whole thing. Like we
Right.
did not feel like we're just off to the side or whatever, you know?
What's your most memorable time?
I don't know. Like I told you, like honestly, Matthew, I am still processing
Everything?
everything, you know?
Wow.
Like, I don't even think I have such, like, it's so many cool memories and so many awesome moments. It's very hard for me to like single out like one specific one that is like like, oh my god, like I never thought. So I could say like, yeah, meeting certain people definitely was like crazy. Like being able to like hang out with Lionel Richie and like talk for hours and like get all that knowledge and all that. That's a crazy thing that happened for me that I would never forget. And then obviously I already mentioned like the Beyonce tour, and then just being able to write, like knowing that you wrote something and it's like Grammy-nominated or it goes like multi-platinum,
Yeah,
or you know, you're actually like making music for like the biggest artist in the world. Those are things that I'm just still like, what?
So
Yeah.
let's talk about the guy that won on X Factor, James Arthur.
Yeah.
He sung Impossible.
Yes.
How you felt about that?
I always make a joke, and it's funny because I used to be at a point where I used to be like, you have to be very diplomatic in interviews. But when I realized that people don't care about me, I don't care about them anymore.
Okay.
So he's not even him anymore. He is he who shall not be mentioned. You're Voldemort now, as far as I'm concerned. And why
Okay.
that is because, and I can't only just blame him. I have to blame like my publishers and my label and stuff like that too. And that's what's happened when you don't have the rights to your masters and you don't own all the publishing and whatever. People can like take your songs and do whatever. So he's only able to perform this song if he gets the rights to do so from these people. Not a conversation was never had with me. No one ever even told me that was happening. And it's nothing. At first, it's nothing because people if you have a hit song, people are going to cover it.
Yeah.
But as you know, with that particular show, what happens is the winner, whatever song they perform as the last song becomes, they actually like release that cover. And usually in the UK, it becomes the Christmas #1.
Right.
Right. That's like the timeline. It's kind of like, it literally is the pattern. It goes like that all the time. And usually when that happens, they say the name of the artist. They literally say this is whoever's song that this artist is covering.
Right.
Do you not notice that many times, even on that show, and he's not the only person who's covered it, sometimes they don't even say, like, every other song, you'll see like the title, the artist name, whatever. Sometimes they're just like, this is this person singing Impossible. And it's just like, oh, like I don't exist. Like I'm not the original person of this song. Like that is something that like actually is like a peeve. And it's just like, why are you doing that? Because it's almost as if you are trying to make it go away that I did the original and you're trying to make this the version now. And I'm just like, do you guys not see the optics of that? Because I'm a black woman and he's a white man.
Oh, well.
That don't look good. That really looks bad. And if you did it the right way, how you do it with everyone else's songs, when you say, okay, like most of the time you'll see them invite the person to the show to do the duet with them when they cover their songs or whatever. Dude, I got none of that. I never even got... This guy, when he talks about the song, he doesn't even acknowledge that it's a cover. He literally talks as if it is his song. So there are literally people who think that this is his song, that only know his version, because it is almost like if that version was like pumped.
Okay.
To suppress the original version.
Right.
So like you have to spend your time, like so much time schooling people, like. So literally every day, all that my timeline is literally mentions, like me getting mentioned because someone is correcting someone for marking him as the singer of the song. And then it's like people checking them, like, actually, no, this is Shontelle, not he who shall not be mentioned.
Could it be anything that you could have done different?
No, because you're powerless when they own all the rights to everything, and you sign those like terrible contracts that basically, and even if it's just like a morality thing, like I said, there's no morality in that system. There's no, so even if they know like this is gonna suck, cause like we probably are literally taking. Because now if a song is split between two artists, you literally just took food out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Right? Because now somebody could book him to sing these songs. Like, whereas if you want this song, you would have had to just book the artist. So now the song is like split. And now there's that version. And it's not like it came out. It's not like when a cover comes out decades later, or you know what I mean? Like this, like some old song, and then a new young art, bro. Like 10 years and even past. Why to God, why? And a lot of people don't know. Like they did the same thing. Like the Pussycat Dolls' first single, "Don't Ya?" That was actually by a black girl, a black artist. I can't remember her name, but she's the original singer of that song. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me?
Okay.
And they did the same thing to her.
Oh, wow.
Snatched the song from her, gave it to the Pussycat Dolls, and then pumped that version. So a lot of people think that is the original version of that song.
Wow.
It's not. Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they have a habit of doing things like this. So there's probably a lot of other songs out there that as a hit song from like this group or this record that was actually like a song that was starting to pop from another artist, but that artist maybe like didn't have the same support system or the same team on the label, or someone else on the label had a different idea, repackaged it and did something different. So this is just to show you like what labels will do to an artist. Like they really don't care about you. And so and it wasn't even like anyone said, hey, like we're just letting you know this is happening. Not one conversation. I literally woke up one day to my phone blowing up,
Right.
Of people confused asking me like, what's going on? Like I'm hearing this other version of this song now, and like somebody's saying like this guy is singing it, and I was just like, oh my.
I had no idea. I thought it was actually good for you at the time. I thought that, you were getting a bag from that for sure.
At the time initially, it was great for me because one, it means that the ears and eyes are back on your song. It means like the fans who already loved the original, like your streams will peak, spike for a minute because the song is like fresh in people's minds again. They'll like the drama of like, oh, there's another, the actual original version is gonna make people go listen to it, which will drive it. So that means like your royalty check is going to look a little different for like the next couple quarters. So you'll get a little boost of your bag, but then it starts to go in the opposite direction, after that. So
Shontelle, what I'm hearing,
and it just makes you feel some type of way that like music that is yours can be controlled by someone else and you literally can't do anything. That's the part that makes it like,
that's
and that no one like, all these people are like close to you, like handling business on your behalf. You seeing them every day. They all have your number, and they must have known. Like they know this is like nobody ain't even just pull me to the side and be like, the man about to do bear jump, and you just need to know early on. Nothing. They literally don't care. So that is when it started to hit me like, oh my God, what have I signed up for in my life? Like
right. So what I'm
is
hearing
this?
from your story so far, it feels like there is really a roller coaster. It feels like you had some really high moments, and then you had some really low moments. Before I go any further, I want to talk about 2015.
Yeah.
You mentioned in another interview that 2015 was a very difficult year for you. Will you tell me why?
I'm trying to remember what happened in 2015.
Where were you? What was happening in your career at that time?
Bruh, like you really got refreshed. you know more about me than me. What was happening in 2015? I trying to remember like I think 2015 might have been like when I think I know what we're talking about. Like when I went through this, is this like when I was like stuck?
Yes.
Yeah. And there was like, I couldn't get, oh my God, I went through so much crap. I've been waiting to tell this story because I went through some mean stuff at the U.S. Embassy. Anyway, yeah, that also depressed me because I was like, people will just treat people like trash and like ruin their lives for like no reason. So this is what happened. As you know, I'm not American. So for me to legally work in the U.S., I need a special type of visa. So I need the O1. So I always had an O1 visa. And then I got to a point where, and then a certain person came into power, a certain orange person came into power and started like really doing some BS with immigration and making life very, 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 very complicated for people like me who need these types of visas. Because first of all, this visa is very expensive. You need to be, because you gotta go through an immigration attorney. Those are fees. You gotta pay the fees for the visa itself. It's a lot. Like you could be running up to like 20K US or more for that process. I think a lot of people don't even know that. So you used to be able to get the maximum length of time, like the normal visa, they'll give you like 10 years or something like that, right? Yeah. This one, they used to give you 3 years. Then my man was like, nah, 1 year. So you're looking at this like, okay, I made my money good, but like I got really paid 20 grand every year to go. And then they said, then he changed it from you can't just renew it. You have to reapply every time.
Right.
It's not like, it's like you're going for it for the first time every single time. So like before, whereas like, you know, like my my attorney would just have to like rerun the paperwork, whatever, like pay the little fee, and then you just get back your new visa. Like they send back, it wasn't that anymore. You gotta go, you gotta do the interview, you gotta go back to Barbados or go to a U.S. embassy in some other country. So then, one time, I went to the embassy. I do not know who is behind this. If it is sabotage, or if that man is like one of the most trash human beings ever, or if he just had a bad day and wanted to take it out on me. Because also at that time, before Orange Guy came in, you could have 2 visas at the same time. So you could have your O1 visa, but you could also have your B1, your regular tourist visa in one passport. All of a sudden, I go back I remember the last time before the crap I'm about to get into, I go back. Then they're like, oh, you can't have 2 visas anymore. You have to pick one. I'm like, what? Like, when did this change? Like, we didn't get the memo or anything. So I literally remember, in order for me to like get my new O1, they literally like, I just had got a new tourist visa recently. I probably still had like 8 years left on it. And the man just so cancel, like boom, you ain't got no more tourist visa. You only got this one visa. So I'm like, but if I gotta go to New York for family or something, like
it's not always
if this visa run out, this work visa, like how I can be able to. I was like, anyway, whatever. As long as I still have my O1, I'm good. Then I had to renew that. Then the year passes. I'm going to renew my O1 visa. I get to the embassy, which means obviously I had to get a plane ticket back for New York, come back to Barbados just to go to this interview, just to get a new visa. I get there. The agent that was dealing with me on that day, he looks me in the eye and goes, so, you're trying to get a new O1. I was like, yeah. Then honestly, there was some kind of like thing that was missing or whatever. And he was just like, okay, well, you can just go deal with this and then you could, whatever. So then I was like, okay, but I need to like travel. Like, is there a way that I can apply for like just the normal tourist visa then, so that at least I could just be able to go to New York, because I know this is going to take a while. And then he was like, sure, no problem, but you can do it today. All right, cool. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go back home again. He's like, yeah, it's a whole different process because of different visa. I'm like, sure, no problem. Set a new date. Come back. And I'm just like, okay, this O1 stuff is going to take a while. Let me just get the tourist visa because, like, I got family in New York, or I might just want to go to Miami. I might just need to go to the U.S. for what? Not necessarily working. I go to the embassy. I'm trying to get, like, the normal visa now. Then the guy is like, but you always had O1 visas, like, for the last however, like 10 years or whatever. Why do you want a tourist visa now? And I was just like, they're not used for the same thing.
Right.
If I'm not working, I don't need to travel on a work visa. I'm just going for a family or vacation or whatever, And then the guy goes, so, okay, you've had O1 visas before, but now you want a B1 visa. I'm like, yes, I just need to go see my family. Like, I just need to be able to, sometimes I might want to travel and I need to go through the U.S. I can't even go, I can't even commute or connect through the U.S. or a U.S. territory if I don't have a visa. So I'm like, yeah, he's like giving me the runaround. Then he goes, I don't know if he like went and Googled me or whatever. And then he just was like, yeah, I'm just going to deny you this visa today. I'm like, I have never been, I was going to New York since I was 2 years old, before I could walk properly. Like, I have never been denied a visa. I have no criminal record. In fact, I have a police certificate of character. Like, what is going on? And then he goes, yeah, well, because you've had an O1 before, I just don't trust you. I'm like, so wow. What is this? Profiling? Like, I am literally a public person with like a perfect track record, no criminal, nothing. You can see like what I do, who, like, you know. But in his mind, he's like, I think that you're gonna go to the US and try and work illegally. And I was like, bro, that is... I literally think what he did is illegal. And I probably should have taken action.
Right.
Because, like, you can't just tell me that you think... like, what? This is not Minority Report, bro.
So from there,
You cannot tell me you punish
States?
me for something I have not done. Like, you think I'm going to do it. Why you think I will do that? Because I'm sure you probably gave other people, you know, a visa and you didn't tell them none of that. Like, why are you looking at me and thinking that I'm going to, like, misuse, or, you know what I'm saying? Or, like, why would you? I've never done anything like that in my life. I don't even have anything that would suggest that I might be capable of doing something like that. How could you look at me and decide, like... I don't care about your family over there. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care anything about you. I don't trust you. No visa. And I have to like turn around and walk through like all the people, because you know who get the visa and who don't get the visa. So I'm just like, and everybody, quite a few people in there was like, you just heard them whispering. They're like, that is Shontelle, man. So that's like super embarrassing now. Like, you got to walk out of there. Everyone knows that your visa just got denied. And now, every time you go to apply for a new visa, you have to say on that form that you have been denied a visa before. So it's like re-traumatizing. Because you're like, now they're going to judge if they give me a new visa on the fact that my visa was turned down before. Like, I look like a trouble tree or something. And I'm like, bro, like, it's like if I got a criminal record and I literally did nothing. So whoever in Barbados or wherever that can make all of that go away, at the embassy, please to call me, because what on earth? That still like bothers me so much to this day. Like, this white man literally looked me in my face and was like, I don't trust you.
Has it been started?
My man, I am so pissed off. I never tried to get a visa. I was like, I ain't care about America no more. I don't need to go back.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad of a taste that, like, I was like, I'm an upstanding citizen. Like, I should not be experiencing that. You know what I mean? Like, forget about the public person side of me. Mm-hmm. Like, I should not have had to experience that. And that, like, really, I was just like, I hate this guy, and now I don't like this country anymore. And that, like, hurt me because, like I said, I always loved going there all my life,
So obviously that have impacted your career.
So of course now I have to make a choice whether to allow like this country or this one random man to like bully me for whatever reason, like stick my tail between my legs and run back to them, or show that like I literally do not need your country to survive or exist. But of course that means as me opting now, I cannot tour there. So that's a big bag that you have to let go and say, you know what, for my own dignity. Like, at some point, like, right now, there is a process in place. And me talking about all this maybe will impact that. But at this point, I really don't care, because you shouldn't be doing that to people. That was, like, one of the craziest experiences of my life, like, where I was reminded that I am a Black woman from a developing country.
Right.
That was so like humbling, I was just like, wow, like one man could just decide like your future because he feels like it with no reason to do it. Like that, just to this day when I think about it, it blows my mind. So I literally was like, I don't want to live in the US anymore. I literally, all my stuff is in storage there right now. Like, I literally was like, I'm out. Peace. I don't have to go back. I will figure my life out and never have to like go there to do it.
Right.
Like, you don't have to be a piece of my puzzle, because I feel like sometimes countries like that make you feel that way. Like you need that. And I'm just like, yeah, I do. But you know what? Luckily for me, my career spans like way beyond that one country. It's not even my biggest market anyway.
Right.
It's actually the UK and Europe. So even though they're my second, biggest market, like it goes like the UK, and then I think it's like New York, California, whatever. And then the next big markets are like Africa, Asia, whatever. I'm like, I got a whole world to tour.
Right.
like, should I really let this one country make me feel that kind of way? Like, that's not cool, bro. That's how strong I stand on things, bro. Like, I will, like, make less money and, like, block myself from certain opportunities just because I'm just like, that was so wrong. Like, how can I, like, sleep at night playing into that system?
Right.
That was ridiculous. But there is a situation I'm working on now where, you know, just on some, like, movie type stuff, like other stuff where I might just, like, have to make it happen. But yeah, I literally just, I was just like, that left a bad taste in my mouth. And of course, there was like a lot of political tension at that time because of who was in power. So that made me like even more steadfast
Right.
in like feeling how I felt at that time and just saying like, you know what, I'm good. You know, I'm good. I did the same thing during COVID when they were like, you can't travel unless you do. Like, if I feel like I'm being bullied and it not making sense to me, I ain't gonna be like, look, God is me and you.
Right.
We can just go and sit down here for a minute. Like, cause the math ain't mathing. So if
Right.
I don't understand something, I can't just, I'm not a sheepdog. Like, just because of all the goats gone, so I can't just do it. I just gotta figure things out for myself. So
But that is a tough one, though.
yeah, very tough.
Is
So
a tough one. And then because, as you said, I mean, you got all this amazing talent, and America is still a place where, like, it's a big platform,
it's full of opportunity.
right? And
It's also where like a lot of the people I work with are.
exactly.
So that means I can't even like be there, go to the studio and be in the same space with them. If I have to work with all my American counterparts and like
Right.
peers, I have to do it remotely, you know? So even if I say, all right, cool, bet I ain't gonna perform there, it does still block a lot or make things more complicated.
Right.
But that being said, I've realized that because of technology, there's still a lot. Like I have like so many contracts with people in the US, so many companies. I still do a lot of stuff. I work with a lot of like TV and film production companies. Like, yeah, being a songwriter doesn't just stop at making like pop music. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's so many bags like all over the place. So, yeah, I realized like maybe this is God maybe trying to show me like there's more than one path. Like, you need to like grow, out of
Yeah.
this.
But you have seen so much, you've been through so much. I think that you have an opportunity now to kind of teach others too.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it from so many different sides.
Yeah.
You're coming from a developing country, and then you had your,
Yeah.
you had a run in the U.S. and you know what the industry is about.
Yep.
You had your running with the labels and the things that happened to you.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that have to come to the surface because everybody thinks that, well, some people think that it's all glitz and glamour all the time.
No, the glitz and glamour is actually the smallest part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else is really dark and difficult. And yeah, it like you really have to be very strong to like survive the mainstream entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You're going to get tested in a lot of ways, but I'm like also like very stubborn. And I don't care who you are. Like, you can't make me feel, dog, like that I need you. You like, cause in my head I just be like, you know who's me? Not even on no arrogance, on some since I was a child, people try to tell, like, they try to not let you know how powerful your mind is. But I learned from when I was really young, like, everything that I got laughed at for, that I said I was gonna do, that I was weird for wanting to do, that I was told I couldn't, literally everything manifested. So I was like, why is that gonna stop now?
Right.
Like, there's so many ways and paths, and so like as a whole network, like there's probably more than one way to get to Mars. You know what I mean? Like, bro, if that's your way, cool. Like, that way doesn't work for me. I'm good. I will not sacrifice myself, in other words. Like, I'll sacrifice everything else first. But I gotta be intact. So I will take less money, less gigs, less everything, because I also know my brain is so lit that like music is not the only way that I know how to make an income or whatever. Like, a lot of people don't know how many other things I do and whatever, you know.
Can you list a few?
My man.
Are you allowed? Are you allowed?
I don't even want to like say right
Nah,
now.
all right. Oh, cool.
But just know that there's literally like products in the supermarket that you probably buy that you don't even know like I'm behind. There's establishments around the country that you don't even know like I'm a part of. There may or may not even be a radio station that I might be like a little bit, you know.
I got you.
I don't say anything, you know what I
Right.
mean? Because there's no need to.
Yeah.
But like if you feel like comfortable in yourself and you feel at peace, that is all that matters. So I understand the optics. I know how people are. I know what they think when they see me, what is going through their mind. They're like, but what happened to she? Or she don't make music anymore or whatever. And I'm, you know, the answer to that is yes, I do. I just don't no longer I'm active within that system.
Right.
That would have made it easier for you to access the music
Your
that I
music,
make
yeah.
and whatever I'm doing. And I'm maybe just a little less loud about it because, like I said, a lot of my deals with music, when you hear a song come out, is no longer just like, oh, this is a single. It's because it's like it's already being used for something. And I already got the bag for it. It's probably for a campaign or it was probably for a film or something
Right.
like that. You know what I mean? So in other words, I'm not like in a race. I'm not like competing again. I'm just doing what makes me happy with the talents that I have, and like, seeing like how many people I can impact with it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm just like, bro, I don't care like about any of this stuff that y'all care
There's
about.
so much so Shontelle
Or that y'all
I wanted
want
to
me.
go through.
I know.
We already passed like
We could do part two.
We gotta do a part two definitely because I wanted to talk about when you did cat
Yeah.
footwear. And then you did like so many videos. Are you still doing videos?
Yeah.
And like I mean like international
Yeah.
videos, you know?
A lot of people don't know about that. Like when I did the cat, I literally had like a line of boots with Caterpillar. And yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. They don't know about when I did like the campaign for Veet, because my legs. I'm just so quiet with everything. I don't know why. Like I literally just was on the cover of like Glamour,
Right.
like all these like big public, and I don't really say anything. I just drop it on Instagram and go along about my business.
Have you
know what I
ever
mean?
felt
You're like literally on the cover of Harper's Bazaar, and you know.
Right.
I do these things, but it's very also hard for me to. I just don't like show. I don't like like saying everyone look what I did is
Right, okay.
still weird for me.
Okay.
So
So
people,
you feel like it would feel like showing off?
yeah. So it's like weird. It's why I don't really talk about a lot of the things I do. So I'm the type of person that I need a PR person.
Right.
Because I need someone to tell the people for me. Because I'm not good at like self promotion and like I hate that. Like, oh my god, I hate it so much.
Well, I mean, you're music first, right?
Yeah.
You are.
It feels so
a singer
disingenuous
first.
to me, like, and so gimmicky. I don't like it at all. But I understand why you have to do it. It's just that I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
So.
I think that this is probably a good time for me to drop the gem
Yeah.
that was left here for you. As you know about it, right? We have people that come in
Yeah.
here and drop a gem for the next guest. We don't
Yeah.
know who's going to be the next one. So I'm going to this is very short, but it was for you and it's impactful. So let's see what it goes.
Well, I don't know who the person is,
We know,
but I
we
think
know.
I think that this may be useful to some person, many people. I would say simply this: remember who you are.
That's it. Remember who you are.
You know why that's interesting? That's my gem. Because I have a tendency to also like downplay myself a lot and do that weird stuff that you shouldn't do. And I get that like every day from people who love me. They're like, you just get me so. It's like, you know who's you? Cause you's gone. Like, if you ain't you, like, remember who are you, dog?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
please. Like, I get that a lot. So
Yeah.
that was definitely like God doing what God does. Yeah, for sure.
Good. So Do you want to take this time now to leave your gem for the next guest? Like anything that is on your heart, something that you live by? What do you feel in the moment?
What do I want to leave? Because, I'm a treasure trove. I'm just, yeah. I got gems for days, but yeah, since I don't know who the person is, I would say whenever you feel stuck, go deeper. That's it. A lot of times people will hit a brick wall and turn around and run back, run to like safety or whatever. You have to be crazy. Like when you feel stuck, literally go deeper, and come out on the other side instead of trying to run back, because you might run out of air or something on your way back out. But that's what I would say. Yeah. When you feel stuck, go deeper. Yeah. So I'm sure that will mean different things for different people. But yeah, sleep on, like, think about it.
I got you. And that's something obviously that you had to do many times. Just keep
for
going.
sure. Yes.
Got it. Well, I mean, there's so much that I didn't get to touch on, Shontelle. But there's just one other thing I want to ask you. The 20-year-old, when you were 20, is there anything that you would like to tell that Shontelle?
Oh my God. What would I say?
Saying that you have gone through this journey so far, everything that you saw, experienced, achieved.
Yeah, I would tell myself, like, never change, because it's because of who you are and the way that you think, why you like where you're at right now in life. Like, you're going to love it where you land. So even though everything is weird right now and you're a little lost and confused, like, don't change it. Don't change anything. All the no's that you're going to say them. All the yeses that you're going to say them. Yeah. Because, ultimately it's all your experiences that make up who you are. It's how you learn. It's how you grow. It's how you become, like, a better person further down. So that's why I would tell 20-year-old me, don't do no junk. Don't do no junk. Just don't change. Just be you. You got this. Everything gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that hearing your story and the beginning and everything, you were able to manifest a lot right early. And I think that gem that was left for you is really for you.
Yeah. It really felt.
It's really for
That's
you.
why I told you, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, literally someone says that to me every day.
I think you might need to get back to that place where, like, you have a gift, you have something special, and people need it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad we had this talk.
Shontelle, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, Matthew.
And that's a wrap.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I am so glad that we have our own Club Shay Shay. Because you literally get everyone to come and, like, talk about things that they would just never talk about.